What if you could go back in time for just a moment and change a crucial part of history? If we could time travel, anything we did within the past would cause a sort of ripple effect, and we would return to a present that is not our own. This effect is called the butterfly effect. Now, what if I told you you do not need to time travel to cause a butterfly effect? What if I told you that with the right knowledge that you could control your own ripple? Welcome to Peculiar Occurrences. I am your host, Lilith Nova. In 1865, Abraham Lincoln dreamed of his own death. 10 days before Abraham Lincoln's assassination, he had a dream in which he attended his own funeral in the White House. Despite being extremely shaken from the dream, he decided to take a trip to the theater with very few security. Just think of how different history might have been if he had heeded that dream and perhaps stayed in that night, or even taken just a few more security guards to protect him. His assassination marked a pivotal point in American history, as all the work Abraham Lincoln had done to free the African American slaves was rejected by his successor, Andrew Johnson. His speech, the Gettysburg Address, is still regarded as the heart of America's national identity. And it's certainly safe to say that if Abraham Lincoln had not gone to the theater on that day at that time, that he would have gone on to do many more great things. How buying a sandwich led to World War I in 1914. Plans to assassinate the Archduke by the Black Hand had so far been unsuccessful. A grenade lobbied at the Archduke's motor brigade had missed and hit another car. The Archduke was determined to visit the injured, so he traveled to the hospital. But during his journey, he noticed that the driver was not going down the new altered route that he had previously decided to take. His driver parked in front of a building where one of the people assigned to assassinate him just happened to be buying a sandwich. He decided to take his shot and ended up shooting the Archduke and his wife, which plunged the world into a 4-year war with millions of casualties. If only the driver had taken the right route, or even a different route than the one he did take. Or if the gunman had eaten a larger breakfast that morning, or chosen somewhere else to buy his sandwich, the Archduke would not have been assassinated on that day at that time. There were at least 2 butterfly effects that could have stopped World War II. This is probably the more popular one. In 1905, a young man applied to the School of Popular Arts in Vienna. Unfortunately for him and us, he was rejected. Twice. That aspiring art student was Adolf Hitler, who after his rejection was forced to live in the slums of the city, and his anti-Semitism grew. He joined the German army instead of fulfilling his dreams as an artist. Henry Tandy was in France in 1918 fighting for the British Army when he decided to spare one young German's life. This decision was to cost the world in ways no one could ever imagine. Since he was so badly injured, Tandy could not bear to kill him, so he let him go. That man was Adolf Hitler. Due to these few small things, the world gained one of its strongest dictators, and most notorious. Just think of how different the world would have been if Hitler had made it into art school, or if Henry had just taken that shot that day. So many lives would have been saved. Martin Luther King Jr.'s reputation rested on a gun license. Martin Luther King Jr. is famous for his pacifist and nonviolent protests. But history may have ended up remembering him a little differently if his request for a gun license had been granted when he had just been elected leader of the Montgomery Improvement Association. It is known that he had applied for a license to carry a firearm. This was only after numerous threats to his life by whites who were opposed to his selection. However, he was turned down by a local sheriff. And Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy of peaceful pacifism remains intact. The above examples of butterfly effects show how small choices by seemingly insignificant people can shape the future of the world. And we all experience this in our day-to-day life without ever even realizing it. What seems like small, insignificant decisions may or may not have a larger impact on your life than you once thought. You might like to believe that you are in control of your own destiny or fate, and in most ways I like to think that we all are. But there is those small, chaotic moments that no one can control. What can we control and what can't we control? Well, you can control what food you eat. You cannot control the weather. You can control whether or not you exercise today. You cannot control time. You can choose to start your own business, but you cannot control whether or not you get fired tomorrow. You can influence it, but you can't control it. You can love someone unconditionally. You cannot force someone to love you back. Life is a gamble. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But you are always playing the odd, and a good gambler can predict the outcome of his actions and his bids. Now, let's talk about how you can use the butterfly effect to your advantage, and even the odds of life. If you're looking to change a habit, like making better food choices, exercising more, eliminating your fears, you might actually need to take a slower approach, one that emphasizes one small step at a time. This can reduce a lot of confusion, anxiety, and feelings of being overwhelmed. Okay, number 1. Would you rather have $1 million today or a penny that doubles itself every day for a month? Small tasks done each day can equal rewards down the line. Take the double penny, for example. If I offered you $1 million right now, or a penny that doubled every day for the rest of the month, what would you do? Which one would you take? Gut reaction says take the million and run, baby. But if you actually took a penny and doubled it every day for the next 30 days, you would actually end up with $5.3 million. In this case, it really pays off to be patient. Number 2, making little changes in your life. You could wake up 30 minutes earlier every day to get a quick workout, or spend time with your spouse, or spend some time with your kids, just have a little breakfast. Practice some gratitude or meditate. 30 minutes a day is another small change you could make right now that could lead to a large and positive change down the road. Just think of how 30 minutes of exercise, what it could do for you down the road if you're not currently doing it right now. Or that extra time with your spouse could keep you from divorcing down the road, or spending time with your kids could keep you bonded. Number 3, give a little to get a little. Whether you believe it or not, the universe does reward kindness. Take myself, for example. We had helped out some friends who were pretty down on their luck. And around Christmas time, when we were hurting ourselves due to helping them and becoming financially drained, our friends and family actually pulled together and helped pull us out of this hole. My point to that is, when people see you doing the right thing and helping others, they are more likely to do the right thing and help you when you're in such a spot. The same thing goes for any successful business. You have to give money to earn money. Whether that be paying to buy a business, paying to buy equipment, paying to buy advertisement. You may have to pay out quite a bit, but you'll get double back in return. Number 4, from ear to ear. Smile a bit more.
Can I buy you a drink?
That would be nice.
And while we're talking, let me offer you some free advice. Talk less.
What?
Smile more.
Ha!
Don't let them know what you're against or what you're for.
You can't be serious.
You want to get ahead.
Yes.
Fools who run their mouths often wind up dead.
As corny as it may sound, smiling is something we often take for granted, but can have a tremendous impact not only on our lives, but of the lives of the people around us. To prove it, who would you rather spend time with? This person? Or this person? I bet the majority of you picked picture one. Researcher Andrew Newberg has a new study where a smile is rated as the highest symbol of positive emotional contact. The science of smiling more often tells us that once the happy muscles in our face contract, there is positive feedback that's often sent to the brain for you to express joy. And in return, your brain sends signals to the rest of your body that you are actually happy and expressing and experiencing joy. And the signal event will just keep rotating around and around and around for as long as you smile. So the more you smile, the happier and more joyful you'll be. To touch on this a bit further, there is a famous yearbook smile study. This shows how a simple smile can affect you in the long term. By measuring the smiles in the pictures, researchers were able to predict how long and fulfilling their marriages would be, how highly they would score on standardized tests of well-being and general happiness, how inspiring they would be to others. The widest smilers constantly ranked highest in all the above. Smiles convey a sense of trust and can influence how you feel and how others feel about you, and about social slip-ups and blurs, and can even get you leniency when you get yourself in trouble. Plus, they're contagious. Spend a few moments with the happiest person you know and then see how you feel. It just goes to show how practicing happiness and a smile on your face every day can translate into bigger and better things. So spend more time with kids. They smile up to 400 times per day, compared to the average adult who only smiles about 20 times per day. Maybe that's why teachers seem to live so long. You know, you always seem to go back and there's like 100-year-old teacher. There's something you can do now to increase your chances at success in anything you do by 2 to 3 times. This little trick is known as if-then statements. Alright, let me give you an example. Imagine that you would like to lose weight. It's your New Year's resolution. Most people would make a plan like eat less, exercise more. For starters, this is not nearly specific enough. How much less will you eat? And of what? How will you exercise? And how often? The if-then version of this plan spells out exactly what you will do in critical situations. Like, if X happens, then I'll do Y. So step 1, eat less, becomes something like, when the dessert menu comes, I will order coffee. Step 2, work out more, becomes something like, I will work out for an hour at the gym on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. In a specific study done dealing with exercise, the study showed that 91% of those that used the if-then tactic were more likely to stick to their exercise plan, compared to the 33% who did not use this strategy. This sort of planning can help you avoid the hell with it effect, where a bad mood, environment, energy can push you into using risky behavior, ordering from that dessert menu, not exercising. Many of the things in our life are random, and that's okay. I wish that I could control everything, but I know that I can't. And I'm okay with that. But I'm also aware that I can make tiny choices and decisions every day that can affect my long-term success. Most of the things that you want to accomplish in life are not really that difficult when you get down to the center of it. It just comes down to actually making that decision and being present enough to actually experience the change. Objects in motion tend to stay in motion. Way too often we just stop. Stop trying, stop caring, stop moving. By doing so, all we're really doing is giving a message to our bodies and our minds that we have given up. Keep at it, whatever it is. Stay in motion, one day at a time. One small, insignificant action at a time. In this way, you can control a few of the butterfly effects in your very own life. What is one area in your life that you just seem to stop moving? How do you plan on staying in motion? Let me know in the comments below. If you would like to see more content like this, give this video a thumbs up. As well, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that little bell button while you're there. Also, check description below if you'd like to buy something from my Peculiar Occurrence store. And until next time, keep your eyes peeled for all things peculiar.
YouTube has just demonetized all of my videos, so please help support the creator by checking out my merch store. Novaland is a store where you can find t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, iPhone cases, and many designs designed by me. As well, a Peculiar Occurrence fan? Well, I've opened up a store just for you. So head on over and buy your Peculiar Occurrence gear today. Links are in the description box below. Thank you.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.